Hey guys, I'm Olivia, and this is The Truth Behind Your Most Impactful Adolescent Influences. When I think about how media has such a strong impact on who we are and what has shaped us, it honestly freaks me out. From the time we are young, we are surrounded by images projecting the quote-unquote norm into our minds and therefore setting unrealistic standards and goals that leave everyone unsatisfied. We are always striving for the unattainable, or so it seems. Being in the entertainment industry since I was a teenager, I've struggled with body dysmorphia most of my older teenage years into my young adult years. With this project, I thought it would be fascinating to go back and see what specific brands or brand had an impact on my mental and physical standards, and therefore shaped my beliefs of what were quote-unquote normalized gender norms. One of these brands, like I'm sure many for 90s babies, is Abercrombie & Fitch. I seriously can still close my eyes and smell that overpowering stench as I turn down the hallway of the mall and hear the blasted music as I walked through the doors. I used to beg my mom at the beginning of every fall to take me school shopping there. I don't know what seemed so attainable about it or so exciting. I just knew that I so badly wanted to be like the perfect girls in the store. I'd buy whatever little curated outfits they sported, and I look back and I think, what was it that Abercrombie displayed that made so many people want to be a part of their image, especially young men and women? I think it's because they gave off this impression of all-American, young, preppy, and effortless. When you wear their clothes, you'd be all of these things too. Think perfectly worn denim and a yummy camel cashmere sweater. If you wear this, you've obviously got your shit together, and you'll look just like the model and have a boyfriend who looks like the guy standing right next to her too. It gave off this kind of adolescent young version of Ralph Lauren. When we go back and look at the ads, I'm a little bit shocked by what I see and didn't really remember the ads looking like that. I didn't realize that these women were so extremely thin. Post-puberty, maybe only 1% of females actually have this natural build. And not only are these models extremely thin, but they seem almost childlike. Unflawed, perfect baby faces with wind-swept hair. Young girls and women see these pictures and believe this is how they need to look, quote-unquote, naturally. And so if you don't, this pushes one to unhealthily get there, mentally and physically. These pictures are telling women and girls to be sexy and look like you're 12. What? How is this even possible? Because they might say, well, the models look like the girls we're trying to sell clothes to. And that's true. A lot of 12 and 13-year-old girls were trying to wear Abercrombie. But at the same time, it just seems a little weird because these same models are laying naked on top of naked men in a lot of the pictures and campaigns. I just don't really realize or understand who they were trying to cater to. In Abercrombie's ads, females are usually escorted by a male in the picture or are flaunting about in a field. There's little context. We don't ever really see them doing an activity besides just this daydreamy feel, and most of the time they're surrounded by a male, which kind of gives me the impression that if a male needs to be in a picture with the female, that they need to be as a pair and be with a man all the time. It kind of gives this arm candy vibe. When dealing with men and boys, Abercrombie is known to have placed most of their iconic campaigns on the male body. Right when you entered a store, there was a wall-sized canvas displaying the chiseled lower abdomen of a male. Abercrombie represents that masculinity is defined by tan, chiseled bodies, being partially or fully clothed to display these physical characteristics. And not only that, but always be in a tensed flex or some sort of sexual pose. Abercrombie even had a campaign in 2013 where large shirtless groups of men, particularly models, were placed at the front of the stores in matching sweats or matching jeans, and they would pose with customers, specifically young females, kind of like the one I have pictured. And this just blows my mind that this young girl then thinks this might be the standard for all men, and that it's okay that a 12-year-old is even being surrounded by something like this. It's creating crazy standards and unrealistic portrayals of life. It really gives off that vibe that the man orbits around sex, sex, and more sex, with the occasional football, lacrosse, or boat activity thrown in. Kind of like females, the males really never have any subtext to the stories that the ads are trying to show, other than just great bodies. This negatively shows any young man who comes in contact with these ads that this is what they should look like and what they should be spending time doing. Laying in a field, doused in cologne, with a half-naked girl laying on top of them and a football under their arm. All of this just does not seem extremely realistic, but for young, impressionable people, it does set up these crazy beliefs. And for both males and females, Abercrombie focused on having blonde and blue-eyed models or doe-eyed, tousled-haired brunettes. Most of them were Caucasian until Abercrombie had some cases against them that made them, have more diverse models, but there wasn't much. And most of the time, men and women are in sexual or sexual-like positions. What are the underlying messages Abercrombie sent to its young customers that reinforce gender norms? I've gone over and over multiple articles trying to figure this out. I was shocked when I found that female shirts at one point featured slogans saying things such as, "Good girls don't get caught," or "I had a nightmare, I was a brunette," and "If lost, return to either Justin." I think that's just crazy. Young females absorb these statements and subconsciously or consciously lower their self-worth. The company has also shown its racism when releasing shirts saying, "Wong brothers, 2 Wongs can make it white," and "Eat in" or "Walk out," both featuring a cartoon of someone with Asian ethnicity. Also, in 2013, Chain.org had to start a petition to push for the brand to sell sizes extra large and extra extra large. Abercrombie used to say that they would not sell anything over a size 8. And that's crazy considering that Abercrombie did alter their clothes to be smaller than the average clothing companies. So even though I wore a small or extra small in most companies, in Abercrombie I wore a medium or a large. And it really manipulated my brain into thinking that I was too fat to be able to wear Abercrombie. Abercrombie CEO Mike Jeffries said in a 2006 interview, "In every school there are the cool and popular kids, and then there are the not so cool kids," he told the site. "Candidly, we go after the cool kids. We go after the attractive, all-American kid with a great attitude and a lot of friends. A lot of people don't belong in our clothes, and they can't belong. Are we exclusionary? Absolutely." And if you can see my comment, that's exactly how I feel about that statement. With multiple petitions and lawsuits against the company, it resulted in Mike Jeffries' removal as CEO. The company now says, "We are looking to the future, not the past." When visiting the company's website and stores now, there are no longer shirtless models, and it has an overall diverse and inclusive advertisement strategy, featuring models of differing sizes and ethnicities. Though the company has made strides forward, who knows if it'll be enough to change the stereotype Abercrombie praised and represented, and ingrained in many of us millennials about what we should look like. So, why is it important for us to go back and acknowledge or examine the brands that may have shaped our beliefs, standards, and who we are today? In order to change our standards of what defines self-worth and find the truth in what images and healthy or unhealthy values are, we must find what had a strong manipulation for this thought process from when we were young. To go back and examine these unrealistic images like those of Abercrombie, it helps us push for the media and advertising world today to be one of realistic and less dangerous for people, and especially impressionable adolescents. It's our duty to find where we felt powerless as adolescents and now challenge how media today impacts the world and the now coming forward young people. Our acknowledgement and experience gives us the ability to empower young people to having healthy personal identities and be positively impacted from surrounding media. Thank you.